this man, it would lead to peace, and those that have been committing criminality, hiding under IPOB, will be exposed. Is it not time we look at alternative dispute mechanisms to deal with this situation? Is this something the president might consider?
So everything in life begins with the person. Like, for example, are you a Christian? Yes. So there are people, they call them born again, right? Do you know how they became born again?
What?
They acknowledge their sins. They repented.
Oh my God.
They are forgiven. Their sins are forgiven, and then they become born again. Unless there is acknowledgement by the person in question, I am denouncing this. I want people. She talked about the de-radicalization. Then government can intervene. You cannot sit where you sit holding that thought and position that is criminal, and then your uncle, your sister, your brothers are pleading with government to say bypass all protocol and forgive. First of all, our judicial system, Nnamdi will have to have gone through the judicial process and be convicted before the president can exercise the order.
So, but there's still the presumption of innocence. He can't admit to what hasn't been officially said as a crime.
So if you don't admit, run through the process. You see, this radicalization we talked about, they were not yet charged to court. Some of them were in court. It's acknowledgement. If you don't want to acknowledge, what's the basis of saying, I want to free him? Because some people say, if you free him, we'll handle him.
So,
what I'm trying to say is, Nnamdi Kanu is not different from another average Nigerian. The press, who emphasize on the right of the ordinary man, and when they ask government, they keep saying ordinary man, ordinary. You must talk about the real problem of ordinary people, rather than certain individuals that are the symbol of catchphrase and buzzwords. Somebody has to acknowledge his wrong and said, I want peace with government. I want to renounce what I'm saying. And then you can say, okay, there is evidence cogent to say that this person wants to live his own ways.
So, in essence, I think the summary of what we're saying is that there's going to, the government, Nnamdi Kanu is going to be detained, and that the presidency will not at any point step into the arena.
The villa is not a police station. The president is not a police station. The president is not a prosecutor. He's the president of Nigeria, tasked with responsibility to govern Nigeria. Law enforcement will carry out their work, and then people in government will carry out their work. I want to beg the Nigerian media to not choose certain individuals and treat them as more special than other individuals with the disproportionate application of principles. The ordinary man, when it comes to hunger, it is good for the optics to talk about them. When it comes to criminal justice system, you isolate certain individuals. It's just like, let's say, corrupt people. Maybe there's a corrupt politician has been in charge. There's some people who say, leave him. Meanwhile, the other people can be in detention. I made the point clear to you here. For de-radicalization to take place, there has to be acknowledgement and departure from your old ways.
We get your message, sir. So,
thank you.
But that message, we don't know if it's for us. The message also should also be back. We have message.
No, it's actually message to you to tell them, because they told you and you asked me.
Yes, but we're also giving the message that we get from the people back to the government.
To the presidency. Which is
the presidency is that what we hear and the pulse we're getting from them is that we need to see the government cutting down on the cost.
Yeah, that was discussed for sure.
And
not saying that
effective communication of government policies, because there's a...
Why am I here?
Yes.
Only yesterday and today, I have granted interview. How many? We did podcasts, we did TV and all the places. What am I doing? I flew from Abuja. Communication. That's what I do. When the tax thing came, 32 interviews within 2 weeks.
All right.
We will always, and you're free anytime to call us.
We are not going back, but have a practical conversation that we need to have.
Thank you very much.
This is Kacee 360 TV. Here with me is Mr. Chinedu. Mr. Chinedu, good morning.
Morning.
All right, Mr. Chinedu, quick one. Let me have your reaction concerning what the Northern Coalition Group said that Peter Obi and all the Igbo leaders calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu are terrorists. So, do you believe or do you think what the Northern Coalition Group said is true? Let me have your reaction on that.
They are the real terrorists. The Northerners are the terrorists of this country. The Northerners have been in a position of power for over 50 decades now. Nigeria has never moved forward. The Northerners themselves are the bread and the brain behind insurgency in Nigeria. The genesis of killings is started from the North. The North has decimated Nigeria. The North has killed over 7 million Nigerians unprovoked. The Northerners and their governors and their leaders has laid siege, held Nigeria hostage by Boko Haram sponsored, powered by the Northerners to fulfill whatever stupid and useless understanding they have about a conquest. That's the essence of it. And in resistance to such plan and decision, that was what gave birth to the glamour and advocacy of the people of Biafra. As simple as that. Yeah, I can take you back the memory lane when the issue of killing started in Nigeria. The first mass killing pogrom that was carried out against another ethnic nationality took place in 1953 in Nigeria. That was the beginning of it. And it happened in the North. The North has been a center of demonic gathering to disalive as many as just because they want to engage themselves in what they don't even know how it came about. So the people that stood against such illegality, absurd, archaic way of living are the ones just in a situation where the kettle is calling another black. The word
and they also asked President Bwala not to release Nnamdi Kanu because even the act of terrorism, they accused Nnamdi Kanu of. They also said that Nnamdi Kanu displayed that during the Justice Binta Nyako, that indeed the attitude and the characters of Nnamdi Kanu that they displayed during before Justice Binta Nyako really confirmed that yes, Nnamdi Kanu is a terrorist.
Confrontational, 100% celebrated all over the world. Nnamdi Kanu was confrontational because the whole judges in Nigeria have refused to, get even close to his case. So they have to push it back to Binta Nyako, which is automatically, in all ramification, illegal.
What do you think that made the other justice to refuse to attend to?
Because there is no jurisdiction, there is no way Nnamdi Kanu can be nailed under the constitution, present constitution of Nigeria. There's no how Nnamdi Kanu can be nailed in Nigeria under any form of law, both national and international, and they know that very clearly. They are finding it difficult, but Nnamdi Kanu is holding Nigeria down. And of course, Nnamdi Kanu has cleverly come to understand that where he is as Nigeria, as a nation, is nothing but an occultic shrine, and he cannot bow to a setting like that. As simple as that. What you saw, the outburst of Nnamdi Kanu has been celebrated all over the world to mean bravery against all odds. That is what it is, and that's what it has become, and that is the reaction you are seeing from different international communities, world recognized agencies, EU nations, international leaders, tightening up the news more against Nigeria. You can see the embarrassment that was depicted by Musa. I think it's just ordinary. It's not ordinary. These are people who has buried themselves in inhuman
What
treatment.
do you think will make the Canadian government to deny General Christopher Musa the visa? Because the National Security Advisor also said that is disrespectful by the Canadian embassy to deny CDS Christopher Musa visa. What do you think really happened that Canadian denying visa?
I think basically it has to do with the struggle, of the IPOB leaders all over the world, ranging from Simon Ekpa, Dr. Ngozi Orebisi, and of course the able man himself, the man of the moment, talking about Nnamdi Kanu, the Pan-Africanist, the lion of the moment. He is a threat to any oppression, and he has continued to be a threat, to any oppression, to anybody that's against humanity, to anybody that is against existence of what God has ordained and created for humanity. You see, it's unfortunate that Christopher Musa, has been made an scapegoat and has made an embarrassment, of that at that level. It shows that, the human rights organization and agencies attached to the United Nations conventions, yesterday reviewed the Nigeria quest against the Igbo people, against the IPOB, against the killings of Christians in Nigeria, and they found out that the entire military hierarchy, has compromised. And secondly, it was proven that there is also massive corruption and allegation of misappropriation of Nigerian public fund under the watch of Tinubu's government, especially in the military. And as a result of that, they took that decision based on how they have been able to reassess the issue of human rights abuse, given what transpired recently in the court where Nnamdi Kanu was involved, and the killings of innocent people. And they have come to a conclusion that it is high time the international what you are seeing that it's not about Canada. This is a global agenda to make sure that Nigeria is being scrutinized to the level of putting them where they belong. These people you are seeing, they are not leaders. And it has also been discovered that there's a lot of misappropriation, looting, transactions that were maybe possibly going to Canada to carry out at the end of the day before they receive a striking blow on the hierarchy of this unfortunate government.
What will you say about the response of the national security?
Let me tell you,
that it is respectful to Nigeria government.
No, it is Nigeria intelligence advisor to the national intelligence advisor to the president. He's just playing to the gallery. They're trying to defend whatever government that he is championing. And remember that some time ago, somewhere along the line, the same Ribado attacked Bwala Tinubu, one of the worst corrupt governors in Nigeria. But look at him now, coming out. It's like the Canadian government have looked at it from all perspectives and have discovered that this government is filled with people whose hands, left and right, are not clear. And remember, yesterday, a British judge granted asylum to IPOB. But in Nigeria, IPOB is a terrorist organization. You can see the level of bias in everything. And this thing has taken international dimension because the Biafrans all over the world are scattered all over the world, and they are close to any government of the federation where they found themselves, and they make the impact of the world to look at that direction of recognizing the need for Biafra sovereignty and recognition, and that is what is going on. And thank God, Canada. You can also know that some of these countries are under American continent and under the influence of course, the 47th president of the United States of America, talking about Donald Trump. Who might have been stretching, his hands on all areas of endeavor to make sure that he gets to the right position where he's going to announce Biafra at the end of the day.
So do you think Donald Trump might pick interest in Nnamdi Kanu case?
He has already picked interest in Nnamdi Kanu case. As I'm talking to you this morning, Perry Scott, a congressman from the United States of America, has disclosed to the U.S. government this morning that Boko Haram, under the watch of Obama and Biden, of course, Buhari was unleashed on Biafrans in Nigeria, and therefore it was funded to the extent that it cost the lives of millions of course, thousands of Biafrans all over the world. And these things we have been pronounced in President of the United States of America, President Donald Trump. And I can tell you, now Susie Williams and the rest of them are working closely to make sure that the president get to a particular position and time and period where he will take excessive and decisive decisions about Biafra. And that is what is bringing a heavy burden internationally now on Nigeria.
Mr. Chinedu, now that you mentioned Donald Trump, do you still believe in Donald Trump government that they will stick to the actualization of Biafra, or Biafra should shift their tent to Putin?
There's no how we continue to seek for solidarity with the government of the United States of America under Donald Trump. We continue to push for it. You understand? Donald Trump is actually unpredictable. you understand, given the way and manner he does his things. And he can't be surprised that if I wake up on one day and before he know it, he has announced that Biafra should be given recognition by allied forces loyal to American country as a nation.
The likes of Burkina Faso, Mali, and the rest of the African countries, they build their tents with Russia, and you can see the massive development and action that is taking place in those countries. Those two things, it's high time that Biafra should shift their tents and ally with the likes of Putin, the Russian president, instead of Donald Trump. Because it seems like waiting for Donald Trump might take a longer period of time. But when you shift your tents to Putin, Putin is an action man. He will take action, decisive action immediately.
The fact still remains that at this point in time, Putin does not have the required influence to keep Biafra alive and protect the sovereignty of Biafra, given the amount and the number of loyal allies Russia enjoy. Russia is still being seen as an American ally. So and if you look at the United Nations position from the angle of veto power, America still exercise that influence. So America is a nation that will look at how we continue to push for a solidarity for Biafra, and that's my take on that.
All right, Mr. Chinedu, it's a very fine place to live it. Thank you for speaking this wonderful platform today.